The corporate Democrats have taken the knives out for Representative Tulsi Gabbard. This is from CNN here. Liberal leaders call for challenge to Gabbard over Syria skepticism. They say a pair of veteran leaders on the left, so-called left, former Democratic National Committee Chairman Howard Dean and Center for American Progress President Neera Tanden, called on Hawaiians to vote Representative Tulsi Gabbard out of office after the Democrat questioned whether Syrian President Bashar al-Assad was responsible for last week's chemical attack. Quote, people of Hawaii's 2nd District, was it not enough for you that your representative met with a murderous dictator? Will this move you? Tanden tweeted Friday in response to Gabbard's comments on CNN that she is skeptical Assad is responsible for the chemical attack. So first of all, let's pause here and all laugh together at the fact that Neera Tanden, who of course is Hillary Clinton's henchman, she's just outraged. I'm aghast. This is morally offensive that you would meet with a murderous dictator. You do know that, for example, the Saudi absolute monarchy is a theocracy and a dictatorship. Are you outraged when every top U.S. politician meets with them? I mean, look, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, so she met with way more murderous dictators than Tulsi Gabbard ever did. But of course, you know, it's double standards, it's hypocrisy all over the place. It doesn't matter. Not only that Hillary met with these people, because whatever, she was Secretary of State, she had to, but that she praised many of these people. I mean, when you're praising Netanyahu, as Hillary has, when you're praising Henry Kissinger, I mean, these guys are murderous psychopaths. But no, in Neera Tanden's mind, all my outrage is saved for Tulsi Gabbard for meeting with Bashar Assad. Now, furthermore, the fact that they're angry over some people asking questions, like, stop and think about it. It's our intelligence agencies that are saying, well, Bashar Assad, oh my God, he did this chemical attack. It's so hideous. It's so horrendous. I can't believe that he did this. This is crazy. Yeah, like our intelligence agencies would ever lie. I mean, is that really what we're supposed to believe now? That our intelligence agencies are benevolent and altruistic and just objective empirical fact finders? The CIA has most recently been in the spotlight for what? Oh, I don't know, their giant torture scandal that they tortured and they covered it up. You know, the whole agency is built on overthrowing third world governments, democratically elected third world governments, and putting in fascist puppets to do the bidding of our corporations. So now I'm supposed to put all the history, all the skepticism aside and go, you know what, I think the CIA and the NSA and all of our intelligence agencies are being really objective about this. Now look, I don't know if Assad did the chemical attack or not. I do know it's mighty convenient that they say he did, because remember, 2 years ago, Assad gave up his chemical weapons. He gave them up. There was the meeting with a Russian official and John Kerry. It was a press conference. The Russian official said, look, how can Assad make us say you don't attack him? Because at the time, the U.S. was saying, hey, you cross the red line, we're going to attack you. And Kerry said, an offhand remark, he was like, well, look, if he gives up all of his chemical weapons, then we won't attack him. But that's not going to happen. And then Assad was like, here, take all my chemical weapons. So the guy gave up all of his chemical weapons. He's basically in a position where he already won the war in terms of the rebels are in tatters, they're a shell of their former selves, and they really can't win. So it was like a Hail Mary pass where they said, oh, see, we need U.S. intervention. Look at what just happened. Assad did a chemical attack. So a guy who gave up his chemical weapons did a chemical attack, and it was when he had already won the war, and it was a gratuitous, asinine attack on civilians. Yeah, I think skepticism is definitely merited here. They go, nope, you have to say Assad did it. You have to believe our intelligence agencies because they're so trustworthy. And then obviously the logical response is, well, we got to go to war. We got to, you know, these are people who, at best, some of them said, oh, I mean, Trump needs to go to the Congress, and on procedural grounds, I object to his bombing, though I think he's right to do the bombing, but hey, man, you got to follow the process and go to Congress first. That's the best case scenario that the corporate Democrats are saying. Worst case scenario is, I'm for it. Nancy Pelosi was like, yeah, no, we had to do it. Chuck Schumer was like, it was a good idea. So we have this so-called opposition party, hashtag the resistance, who are like, you know what? We're not going to resist Trump. We're going to resist the people who are resisting Trump, like Representative Tulsi Gabbard. Let me give you more. Gabbard told CNN on Friday that she wants to achieve peace in Syria. What a bitch. Quote, why should we just blindly follow this escalation of a counterproductive regime change war? There's responsibility that goes around, Gabbard said. Standing here pointing fingers does not accomplish peace for the Syrian people. It will not bring about an end to this war. Gabbard has also said she is concerned about sparking a nuclear war with Russia, which backs the Assad regime. So think about what she's saying. She's like, look, man, regime change, disaster. We've had a history of it, and every time it's been an unmitigated failure. Whether you talk about Iraq and Saddam Hussein, whether you talk about Gaddafi in Libya, I mean, how much more evidence do you need that when you overthrow the strongman in the Middle East, even if the strongman is a horrible person and doing horrible things, you create a power vacuum, and oftentimes, historically, that vacuum is filled with even worse people. So she's saying, hey, regime change, kind of tried it, kind of a bad idea. How have we not learned our lesson yet? And she's also saying, you know, maybe you don't want to get involved in Syria in this way because you're escalating with another nuclear-armed power. If the Russian government backs the Assad government and you go in there and start attacking Assad, and, for example, Russian planes are at their air bases and you attack the air bases, well, you know, maybe there's going to be an accident one of these days. Maybe you're going to kill Russian soldiers. And what happens when that happens? Nobody wants to be there for that. But Neera Tanden and Howard Dean, the so-called leftists, they're not leftists at all. They're corporate Democrats. They're all angry. Oh, I can't believe this. How dare you disagree with our overtly hawkish far-right president and us, and we're serving the military-industrial complex. Don't you dare disagree with us. You know, we're going to come after you. So the knives are out. They're going after Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard is 100% right. Regime change is not a good idea. Escalating with Russia is not a good idea. And remember, it's just, at this point, the position of people like Howard Dean and Neera Tanden, it's incoherent. Because they simultaneously argue Trump is a Russian puppet. He's Vladimir Putin's puppet, and he's doing his bidding. And then, on the other hand, they look at the fact that he's attacking one of Vladimir Putin's top allies, which is a direct escalation with Vladimir Putin, and they act like, number one, we're for that action. Number two, that doesn't contradict the story that he's Vladimir Putin's puppet. Well, then nothing contradicts that. That is a non-falsifiable claim in your mind. No amount of evidence could prove that theory wrong, that he's Vladimir Putin's puppet, if you decide that Trump bombing one of his top allies, you know, isn't evidence of that. So, of course, you're going to have, here's your resistance, here's your brave Democrats. They're coming for the few dissenting voices that are saying, hey, maybe another regime change war is not a good idea. Again, I don't know. It's like we have the shortest memory of all time, because Saddam Hussein, I mean, look, when people said, hey, we shouldn't go into Iraq and topple Saddam Hussein, it was the same smears trotted out against those people. Because what'd they say? Oh, you're defending this murderous dictator, aren't you? That's what you're doing. It's fucked up, man. I can't believe you like Saddam Hussein and think he's a great guy. I mean, these were the smears that the neocons used, that the Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld and Wolfowitz, that they used against the few dissenting voices who said, I don't think it's a good idea to topple him. Well, now they're doing the same thing with Assad. You know, you say, hey, I don't think we should do a regime change war. Of course, I condemn gas attacks, but I'd like to know who really did it and where the actual evidence is. But I don't think we should do regime change war. And what do? Same thing. Apologizing for a murderous dictator. You would think that the people who were most in bed with Hillary Clinton, whose biggest list of failures is being in favor of all these regime change wars and voting for them, you'd think that maybe they'd be hesitant to say, yay, rah, rah, let's do it again. But no, they're impossible. They're incapable of doing self-criticism. And it comes through here. And it's hilarious because they're calling for, you know, a primary of Tulsi Gabbard. No, you know who's actually going to get primaried? All the corporate Democrats. And we're doing it. JusticeDemocrats.com. Read our platform. Sign your name in support of the movement. Guys, it's really, 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 really important. Because we're primarying the corporate Democrats. They think there's going to be some grassroots pressure and there's going to be somebody who pops up who could defeat Tulsi Gabbard in a primary. It's not going to happen. They have fucking pipe dreams. It's like they're saying, you know, this is akin to them saying, so, you know, we should really primary Bernie Sanders. Why? Because you don't like him? Because you're a corporate sellout? That's not going to change anything. You're not going to get the people to actually vote that way. They're a house of cards, and they're full of shitty ideas, and this makes it crystal clear.